Oh, we've been singing along in the studio. It's time for my first guest. We are in the company, I hope you don't mind me saying this, of entertainment royalty.
Oh, please.
His career spans...
You don't have to say that, just bow.
I'll genuinely thank you. His career spans 65 years. He's sold in excess of 200... These statistics are incredible, Cliff. 250 million records.
Actually,
He's
it's 300. So you get it wrong.
Yeah, I get it wrong.
Whether you don't,
the last time I counted.
The 250,000 was 38 years ago. And so
you've sold a few since then.
And I've done all these other decades with albums selling.
Well, there's been 124 top 40 hits. You'll tell me if I'm wrong. 48 top 10 albums.
Yep.
Your achievement, let's go on. You're back at the top 10 again, all over again. Incredible new album. I was just listening to it. Cliff with Strings, My Kind of Life. And there's a memoir out called A Head Full of Music, which he has. It's a best-selling book. Cliff Richard, Sir Cliff Richard, it's a joy seeing you, young man.
Thanks for having me here.
Are you all right?
Yeah, I'm good, actually. Having finished just the tour, we finished in Glasgow a couple of nights back, and it was a good tour. My band are fantastic, actually, and they're very supportive, and we had a great time. And I actually got Tim Rice to come and interview me for 15 minutes in the first half, 15 minutes in the second half.
Oh, that's a good idea.
And also Ian Dale from
LBC.
I know him. And then up north we had Billy Sloan.
No, I don't know him.
And Peter Price.
Oh, but Pete Price.
Yeah. Larger than life.
You still love performing live?
I do like performing, yeah. And of course, because the audiences are still there, it makes it, there's no nerves. So now when my manager said, should we go on tour? I said, okay. We couldn't find enough venues because people don't buy records anymore and all the bands are going on tour. I took my time making up my mind, and that kind of only gave us 8 shows to do. Mm. Otherwise, we could have done a lot more. Yeah. And the band, of course, we were all rather sad on Glasgow because that was the end of the tour.
You were just getting started.
You're just getting started.
But you look at it, and you released this album, and I genuinely mean it. It's a really lovely album.
Oh, well, thank you.
And it's a great idea as well, to take these songs that we know, that we love, a few that are slightly less obvious, and change them and zhuzh them up.
It's an interesting concept that it was the record company's idea, and I thought, how can this work? But they removed the band that I used on most of the records. I mean, I love the fact that Living Doll and Summer Holiday sound like jazz.
Yeah, it's great.
In spite of the fact that they found 2 live versions of me singing Living Doll and Summer Holiday, and it had slightly more edge to it than the original. And of course, now I'm listening to it, I sound like a bit like a jazz singer.
You do. You do. You know, you do all the genres. One of the loveliest things is the duet with Olivia.
Oh my goodness, yeah, fantastic. We couldn't get the original because I think it was more a live version by her. Yeah. And mine was put on afterwards. I did my bit afterwards, but it's a fantastic song. I mean, you've done duets before. Sometimes, if you're singing with a female singer, the ranges are so incompatible. But with Olivia and I, it worked a treat. We recorded a lot together, and we sang a lot together. And maybe knowing that other artist as well as I knew her and she knew me, it was much easier for us to blend in. And on that Suddenly song, there was only one point that I hit falsetto because I couldn't do it in a chest voice. Nobody knew until now.
But you've got a great falsetto.
Well, I got falsetto ambition when I heard a singer called Curtis Mayfield.
Oh yeah, sure.
From the Impressions.
Yeah.
And I thought, oh my God! But I never, having heard him all those years ago, I didn't want to do it. And people said, well, why not? I said, because I think I'm going to sound like my aunt.
She's got a good voice, your aunt. She could have had a career herself.
But it was Bruce Welsh in the I'm Nearly Famous album. He said to me, this one needs falsetto. I said, well, I don't do falsetto. He said, you do now. And when Bruce says something, you do it.
We don't talk anymore. You've got a lovely falsetto line going on.
Yeah, but that was again, that's the kind of thing that frightens me, because I can hit that high note once on a tour.
Really?
on the first night. And then after that, once you start singing, I can't get to that note.
That's when you turn to the audience, hold the mic out and go, yeah,
all together now. No, actually, but you can drop your semitone down and fake it, really, but it's still a falsetto. Yeah. But that was... And my voice, I don't know about your voice, but I know that my voice has changed. It's fortunately still recognisable. Yeah. And I can still make records and sound like Cliff Richard, but I know there are certain areas that I have to be careful of. And the falsetto I like to use whenever I can, but I can't even begin to try and hit that note except in rehearsals.
How do you go about choosing then these songs? Which ones you want to do? You've missed my favourite song, I'm afraid.
Which one's that?
Miss You Nights.
Oh,
it's just it's mine and Kathy's song. I even recorded it for her. I just love that song.
It is a magnificent song. But the thing is, of course, it was recorded in Studio 2 with a live orchestra. So the orchestration was already there. Yeah. What we could have done, I suppose, was put a rock band under it. But you're right, it was like singing is honey. You know, it's just brilliant. And the public, even though it was not number one, I kept it in my show, because what made it number one is it became the most requested song for me to sing live. So I used to say to them, so thank you very much, your requests. It's made it the number one, into the number ones for me.
Do you love looking at those statistics and seeing, because I mean, you've carved out a unique place in
yeah, but I mean, well, you in the business, you know that it's only time that shows that. So for me, when the Shadows and I started, we go on tour. We weren't bad kids, but we'd go and have drinks in pubs and all, and have fun, go to parties, and we never thought that we'd get to be 50 years old. So suddenly, I get a phone call saying 2 years ago now, saying that I'm the first person and maybe the only person who's had a top 5 album in 8 consecutive decades. Now, you have to get as old as I am to be able to do that.
Of course.
You know, 8 decades. We never thought that. And this year, I celebrated it was my 65th year of singing. And I thought, these things keep happening because I stay alive. You know,
no, Cliff. I mean, part of it is it's also being really good at what you do, and having a fan following like you do, who allow you to take the risks, to go in different directions, to try different things, and are there supporting you.
Yeah, they are. And the first one that surprised me, and I was very grateful for, was when I had Devil Woman, because Terry Britton had sent it to me. But you know, at that stage of my career, I was known for the Summer Holidays and the Young Ones and Bachelor Boy and stuff. All of them number ones, by the way.
And great songs.
Yes. But Devil Woman, I thought, I don't think my fans are going to like this. They loved it.
Of course they did.
I know, and it's the
Cliff being naughty.
Highest I got in America, and only because of Elton John, because my record company in America said they didn't want it. So Elton said, "I'll have it." You know, he had Rocket Records. Yeah. He got it to number 4 for me in the States.
We talked earlier about the duets that you've done. Is there anyone left that you think, I'd love to have sung with them?
Well, the problem is, I saw a clip again of a TV show that I did way back in the 70s, and I introduced Aretha Franklin, and she sang, and I'm thinking, if I could just have a duet with her. But the trouble is, Mariah Carey's another one. But I think Aretha's got a 5-octave or 4-octave range. And Mariah Carey is similar.
It's about 27 octaves.
Yeah,
right?
Something like that, yeah. And I'm thinking to myself, you know, on a good day, I've got 3 octaves, and I can't use that top one, and I can't use the bottom one. And I'm thinking, how can I do this?
Ladies and gentlemen, Aretha Franklin. You just handed over to her. Tell us about the new memoir.
It was interesting that it was the publishers having The Dreamer that I wrote before, and it was successful. And they suddenly come back and say, we've got an idea for something else. And I said, what's that? They said, choose your 30 favourite songs. And I'm thinking, well, then I said, well, okay, then I'll do it if I can get the co-writer that I had for my other book, because he just writes everything down I say, and it's so nice that, you know, when you've done interviews with the press, you read and you think, I didn't say that.
Said that.
No, I didn't mean that. So it was great to work with Ian getting it. Anyway, what it turned out to be it wasn't just songs I chose, it was artists. And I'm hoping that the book will explain to people that people like us, we don't make it on our own. We get, people say, "Oh, Cliff's done that." Yes, but the influences are ginormous. And of course, I made a big point of Elvis.
Of course.
And I still say today that if there had been no Elvis, there'd be no Cliff Richard. And I don't even think the Beatles would have started, because it turns out they were influenced by the same people, the same black...
Well, they were very influenced by you.
Well, the kind of...
No, yeah, John Lennon said that Move It was the first British rock and roll record.
I know, God bless him, because if I do a journalist thing sometimes, they'll say, "Well, how do you feel that you're not cool?" And I said, "Well, John Lennon thought it was pretty cool," and I quote him. Before Cliff Richard and Move It, there was nothing worth listening to in England.
Yeah.
So I don't know if that's absolutely true, but he meant it in a rock and roll fashion, the rock and roll thing. And I know I was thrilled to hear that Paul said that when they were writing, he would be the Phil of the Everly Brothers, and John would be the Don, because they wrote their songs like that. And I'm thinking, and they knew Curtis Mayfield, they knew Sam Cooke, and all these people that all of us of that age, listened to and loved,
idolised.
And the interesting thing is, Ian Gidding is really good at this. He, after talking about all my feelings of these songs and how they've influenced me, he then went ahead and checked out on the artists. And we discovered things. Some of these artists that we love and adore and worship have terrible endings. Sam Cooke got shot dead by a receptionist who thought she thought he was being a bit aggressive. And Curtis Mayfield, when he went for a sound check, the lighting rig fell on him, broke his neck and his back, and he was paralysed for the rest of his life. And yet from his bed he wrote, "People get ready, there's a train a-coming." And it's a gospel song. And he just says, "Thank you to God." I'm thinking, the guy is paralysed for the rest of his life. And so those are the kind of influences that you feel happy about, that his spirituality actually kicked off my thoughts about spiritual things.
Yeah.
So I've got him to be grateful for, not only the falsetto.
I heartily recommend this album. It's just beautiful. Cliff with Strings, My Kind of Life. It's out now. And A Head Full of Music by Sir Cliff Richard, also out now. I'm going to play a song, and we played it last week on the show. I've forgotten how beautiful it was. But after we played it, I want you to stay for a little moment. Okay. This is Cliff and The Best of Me. What a beautiful song, and this arrangement. It's smashing, Cliff.
It was...
remember the best of me for you.
Wonderful. Cliff, The Best of Me. That song was first released in 1989. It was your 100th single, and it made number 2 behind Jason Donavan, who did Sealed with a Kiss. I had the exact same experience a few months earlier in the same year when my song, Love Changes Everything, was all set for number 1, and then Jason Donovan came along with Too Many Broken Hearts, and I had to settle for number 2.
Well, what we should have done was get him shot.
Yeah, well, shall we ask him? I think he owes us an apology. Are you there, Jace?
Good afternoon, guys. Good afternoon.
Jason, I didn't mean what I said.
Yeah, listen, I'm in awe, Cliff. I will. It's absolutely fine. I can understand your frustration. Your frustration.
No, it's only frustrating when you're beaten by somebody who's not as good as you.
But Cliff, I think you and I had a game of tennis at the Brighton Tennis Centre that year, and I think I rose to the occasion, if I remember correctly.
Yes, you did. You played much better than I did.
Well, listen, I've been listening today, and I have to say, mate, I'm in awe of your craft and your passion and your longevity and your optimism. I think if there were more Cliffs in this world, it would be a better place. So
that's
good luck to you.
100% right, Jake.
Humbling. What you said makes me feel very humble, because as I was trying to say, none of us make it on our own. There are so many influences, and in the book that I've written, that's what comes out. I'm hoping that people will see that. You must have so many people, Jason, that influenced you, and it's true for all of us.
Well, Cliff, you're one of them.
Well,
exactly.
100%.
Well, only because I started 100 years ago.
Yeah, Jace, everything's all right with you?
Everything is good with me. I'm in West London. I'm sort of keeping healthy and
I heard you yesterday on Ryland's show.
Yes,
doing the karaoke.
Oh, mate, that was so much fun. What a great energy that guy has. And we did especially for you a duet. He was called Riley, I think, how he sort of phrased it at the time. So, we had a great
Jace,
time.
Before I say goodbye, I just want you to officially apologise to me and Cliff Richard for keeping us both off number one.
I officially apologise for keeping you both off of number one, but there's a little bit of FOMO that's kicking in here because Cliff, it is Sir Cliff, and also it's Michael OBE. Now, I don't even have an Order of Australia, so I'm hoping the future's bright.
It'll come.
It'll come.
OBE could stand for Old Big Ed, or Oldest British Entertainer.
That's yours, Cliff.
Well, there's always that. There's always
I thought I'd play this for you, Jace. A little bit of you and Kylie.
Oh, listen.
Take care.
Lots of love, everyone.
Lots of love.
Take care.
And lots of love, Cliff. So
Cheers,
good to see
Jason.
you.
Thank you for your statement. It was absolutely beautiful.
Bless you.
Pleasure, mate. Pleasure. Bless you.